Welcome back, dear friends. Today is 11th of October, Friday. Now it's about 10 o'clock in the morning Moscow time. I'm Levan Gudadzer, and this is second part of today's morning's update, which will be packed with important news. And I hope you will find this video interesting and informative. So let's go through some news. And dear friends, if you have not seeing today's first update or first part of the news update, please check that video. It was also packed with interesting news in my opinion. So let's start with this report from TASS news agency that according to authorities in Lebanon, at least 22 civilians were killed as a result of yet another Israeli strike on the central parts of Beirut, capital of Lebanon. 117 others were injured as a result of these strikes. Also, we have report that Israeli Air Force conducted an airstrike on West Bank. On the West Bank, Tulkarm city was targeted by Israeli forces. Many people may don't realize that Israel now basically is conducting military operations on several fronts. One is Gaza Strip, another is West Bank, and third is Lebanon. And it is highly likely that we will see some next level of escalation between Israel and Syria in a fairly short time, because Syria is constantly coming under Israeli attacks, and of course world is kind of in expectation of Israeli strike on Iran, which may trigger even regional war in the Middle East. But let's continue with this news here. RT is reporting that Israel arrests U.S. journalist over Iranian attack report. So independent American journalist Jeremy Lofredo has been arrested in the West Bank and reportedly charged with aiding the enemy during wartime for his reporting on the Iranian attack. Iran launched a barrage of missiles at Israel on October 1st, striking a number of military bases and facilities in response to the killing of Hamas and Hezbollah leaders. Israeli censors banned any report of the damage this strike caused. I realize many Americans have a deep, overreaching, unyielding love for the foreign country of Israel, but Jeremy Lofredo is an American and a journalist, a very good one, being imprisoned with no trial by Israel for his reporting. Maybe he deserves some considerations too, said Brazil-based journalist Glenn Greenwald, highlighting Lofredo's case on Thursday. And of course, Glenn Greenwald is a legend of modern journalism. Obviously, he is a citizen of dual citizen. He is a U.S. citizen, I believe, and also a citizen in Brazil. He is based now. He has his own media project, and he is based in Brazil. He broke a story with Snowden, dear friends. So obviously he's a legend and one of the most respected journalists that are known worldwide nowadays. So yes, yet another action of the Israeli government that cannot be justified. They are arresting journalists. There are mass killings of civilians. Israel does not care about the sovereignty of its neighbors and conducts strikes left and right if it's nothing. At the same time, somehow, Western ruling class, Western so-called politicians are calling Israel a liberal democracy. I don't know, man. I don't know. Something is really wrong with this world, man. Especially collective West. Israel is part of which also. Let's continue. And TASS news agency is reporting that Ministry of Defense of Italy criticized Israel and the call Israeli attack on UN peacekeeping mission and UN peacekeepers basically in southern Lebanon a war crime. Compare this action to the war crime. Let's go through this. News in little more detail. I believe I reported about this strike on UN peacekeepers yesterday. And we have a reaction from the Italy on that. So Italian Defense Minister Guido Grossetto believes that the shelling of the UN interim force base in Lebanon by the Israeli military can be qualified as a war crime. According to him, the incident in which 2 soldiers from the Indonesian peacekeeping contingent were injured was not a mistake or accident. So basically, Defense Minister of Italy is saying that peacekeepers were targeted intentionally, and this approach hardly can be disputed because obviously Israel knew that they were targeting peacekeepers, right? There are flags of peacekeepers everywhere, and the Israeli armed forces know perfectly well where those peacekeepers are located, right? So hardly anybody can say that it was some sort of mistake. It was intentional attack on peacekeepers. This can be qualified as a war crime that violates international law. Italy and the UN do not obey their orders of Israel. Their 2 Messaggero newspaper quoted him as saying the Republican publication recalls that Grossetto summoned the Israeli ambassador in Rome and demanded that he fully clarify what happened. Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni called unacceptable the attack on the basis of the peacekeepers, including Italians in southern Lebanon, and the Italian government issued an official protest to the Israeli authorities. And dear friends, there was reports that 2 Irish military were also wounded during Israeli attacks on UN peacekeepers. Although this news needs some additional clarification, but what we know is that UN peacekeepers were definitely attacked, and at least 2 Indonesian peacekeepers were wounded as a result of these strikes. Interfax is reporting, and dear friends, when it comes to actions of the Netanyahu's government, at this point, I mean, I don't even know what can be done to somehow influence these individuals. It seems like they don't care about anything and anybody in this world. They want to provoke a regional war because that's their main goal for Western ruling class, because they want to disrupt navigation through Persian Gulf and Hormuz Strait, so China will be cut off from Middle Eastern energy sources. And to achieve this, Western ruling class is clearly further escalating in the Middle East. They probably are behind the closed doors, even supporting Netanyahu and his government to escalate towards the next level. And I mean, you tell me if you see any way that world community really can have a say in this matters right now. Yet again, I mean, modern Israel under leadership of Netanyahu really looks like a runaway train that just moving towards total disaster for Israel itself and the region, and seems like no one can stop it. Interfax is reporting that Yemeni Houthis take responsibility. Yemeni Houthi rebels take responsibility for strikes on 2 commercial vessels. One was damaged or targeted in Red Sea, another one in Indian Ocean. So let's go through this news also in more detail. And well, Yemeni Houthis on Thursday claimed responsibility for the shelling of the two vessels in the Red Sea and the Indian Ocean. The target of one operation was the American oil tanker Olympic Spirit in the Red Sea. 11 ballistic missiles and 2 drones were fired at it, which reached their target and seriously damaged their ship. The Yemeni Saba news agency quoted the army commander as saying the second target, the St. John ship in the Indian Ocean, was hit by cruise missile with direct hit. According to reports, this Red Sea crisis definitely continues, and despite all their attacks on Houthis or Ansar Allah movement by UK and US, clearly did not really force this movement to lay down arms basically and stop their operations against Israel basically, because Houthis were very clear they will continue these attacks on ships that are directly or indirectly connected with Israel until Israel is conducting its military operations in the Gaza Strip. And there are also very important developments, dear friends, that Iran will retaliate against any Israeli attack on energy sector. According to source of RT, Iran is fully prepared to defend itself and retaliate against any potential attack by Israel, including on its oil and nuclear facilities. A source in Tehran familiar with the matter told RT on Thursday, retaliation against a potential attack will be proportionate and based on domestic and international norms, the source explained. For instance, should Israel target Iran's oil infrastructure, Tehran will, in response, strike 3 main oil refineries in that country. Attacks on either infrastructure, such as power plants or nuclear facilities, will likewise prompt a retaliatory strike on respective installations in Israel, the source added, which means that if Israel will attack nuclear facilities of Iran, then Iran will retaliate by attacking Israel's nuclear facilities. Region is definitely spiraling down towards some absolute disaster, possibly nuclear disaster for sure, because there are reports that most likely Israel will attack Iran's nuclear facilities, and we have now this report from RT that Iran is prepared for such a development and will take action against Israel's nuclear facilities. And we also have this report from RIA Novosti that Iran warned countries in the Persian Gulf that they might be targeted in case if they will assist Israel for strikes against Iran. So this is definitely also strong warning from Tehran directed to regional countries, because obviously Tehran knows perfectly well Israel will struggle to conduct airstrikes on Iran if Persian Gulf countries will not provide airspace for Israel, right? After all, Israel don't has an aircraft carriers. But let's go through this news. Tehran has threatened to strike US allies in the Persian Gulf and the Middle East if their territories or airspace used to attack Iran. Wall Street Journal reported, citing Arab officials, Tehran, through secret diplomatic channels, threatens to strike the oil-rich Gulf states and their other US allies in the Middle East if their territory or airspace is used to attack Iran, the publication claims. According to the newspaper, Tehran sent appropriate warnings to Jordan, the United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, and Qatar. American forces are present in all of these countries, and according to the sources, their authorities of these states have notified the administration of U.S. President Joe Biden of their reluctance to provide the state of Israel with their military infrastructure or airspace for any aggressive actions against their Islamic republics. Or these states in the Middle East definitely understand that Tehran's warning should be taken seriously. It seems like they don't really want to be part of any, directly or indirectly, part of any strikes on Iran. But yet again, the question is, do they have enough independence from to refuse to disobey, basically to disobey recommendations, to say diplomatically, of Washington to assist Israel in this upcoming strike? That's a big question. That's a big question. RT is also reporting that Gulf states are asking US to stop Israel. Basically, this was reported by Reuters. I guess exactly because they understand perfectly well that if they will provide airspace or military infrastructure, airfields, for example, to Israel, then most likely, and if US will participate in their strikes together with Israel, and if US will use its military bases in the Gulf states, then Iran will retaliate. And they definitely don't want to find themselves on receiving end of Iranian missiles. So several Arab states in the Persian Gulf have lobbied the US to restrain Israel from striking Iranian oil facilities, fearing that Tehran could take revenge by hitting their production and disrupting global markets, according to Reuters. And Iran obviously has means to not just conduct retaliatory strikes, but also Iran can easily shut down Hormuz Strait and disrupt navigation in Persian Gulf, and in escalatory scenario, which will be definitely very unfortunate for the world. But I'm afraid that's exactly what Western ruling class wants. So therefore, I think Washington will do nothing to stop Israel. Most likely, exactly opposite will happen. And U.S. political leadership, neocons, Western ruling class will encourage Israel to conduct strikes on Iran, and Washington will use whatever leverage it has over the Middle Eastern countries to make sure that they will don't stop or they will provide assistance to Israel, and they will not block US to operate against Iran from their military bases that they have in this country's region. Slowly but surely, unfortunately, is descending towards regional war. At least that's my way of reading of all this news or the big picture. Also, dear friends, few more news. TASS news agency is reporting that Parliament of Georgia will discuss impeachment of their president Salome Zurabishvili in November-December of the 2024. Of course, first of all, Georgia has to conduct their parliamentary elections, which are planned for 26th of October, in just about 2 weeks time, and Georgia have to survive all the attempts of the Western ruling class and their assets in Georgia to destabilize this former Soviet republic, conduct regime change, and then sacrifice interests of Georgian society, Georgian citizens, and Georgia itself as a sort of second front against Russia, like they sacrificed Ukraine, right? So first, let's see how Georgian society and Georgian government will manage this upcoming parliamentary elections, and there are possible destabilization attempts from the Western assets in the republic. And then, okay, then if everything is fine, if Georgian government managed to keep situation under control, then most likely in November or December, current president of Georgia, Salome Zurabishvili, will be impeached. And what is interesting, dear friends, presidential term for Zurabishvili is ending in January, if I remember correctly. And for Georgian Dream, current ruling party, this issue is has a principal meaning. They just want to create a precedent when a president was impeached due to fact that Salome Zurabishvili broke several norms of Georgian constitution. For example, whenever she was planning any trips, any foreign trips, she had to conduct some consultations about it with the Georgian government, with the prime minister, because Georgia is a parliamentary republic, and Salome Zurabishvili ignored this norm of the Georgia's constitution. And just in recent couple of weeks, she went for 2 or 3 foreign trips without any care of consulting with the prime minister. And even before that, there was many instances when Georgian President Zurabishvili was acting without on the foreign stage, on international stage, without any consultations with the government, which is not normal, obviously. And Georgian Dream just want to, it is principle for them to make sure that president is impeached, so that in the future no one will dare to follow precedent that was created by Zurabishvili by ignoring basically norms of constitution. And I remind you, dear friends, that former president of Georgia, Mikhail Saakashvili, who was an asset of CIA, obviously, and who started, who reignited civil war in Georgia, in South Ossetia in 2008 under orders of the Washington, and who provoked Russia's involvement in this conflict because Saakashvili ordered Georgian troops to open fire on Russian peacekeepers. That person, Saakashvili, is in prison in Georgia, and many people, many citizens of Georgia probably will agree with me if I will say that Saakashvili should stay in prison for life for all the crimes that he committed against Georgian people, Ossetian people, against Georgia as a republic. And it is unfortunate that associates of Saakashvili, very many associates of Saakashvili, were not brought to justice. Hopefully they will sometime in the future, and they will pay price for all the crimes that they committed against Georgia and Georgian citizens, Georgian society. Zglyan newspaper is reporting about some solar plasma that is engulfing Earth right now, which will create which will intensify magnetic storm that Earth is already experiencing. And this will last for 2 days, today and tomorrow, I guess. So weather sensitive members of our community obviously have to take measures to be on safe side, because whenever there is a magnetic storm, I personally experiencing some pressure issues with the pressure. I don't know how it works, dear friends. I spoke about it on yesterday's second update on Patreon, or final update. I cannot remember how this works. I mean, these magnetic storms and blood pressure in humans, but there is some connection. I'm going to read on that to know a little better, or to remember, because I guess sometime in the past I read something about it, I just forget her. And yes, this is the news that I will end this update, dear friends. Our planet, our home planet right now is engulfed by solar plasma, and this plasma is moving. It's a huge plasma, by the way, huge cloud of plasma, and it moves some 700 to 800 kilometers in a second with such a speed, which is twice of the speed than a usual occurrence whenever these plasmas are directed towards the planet. Nothing extraordinary, I will say, but still weather sensitive people, weather sensitive members of our community should monitor pressure and make sure that they are on safe side, because these magnetic storms definitely are influencing humans. After all, there is iron in our blood, right? And some other metals, and this magnetic field, electromagnetic field, obviously can interact with anything electric or metals, I guess. But anyways, this is not my field of expertise for sure, and therefore, I'm just sharing information that our planet is engulfed in this plasma from the sun. This is it for now, dear friends. Relatively shorter update. So I'm quite happy with this new approach when I'm dividing this morning's update in two parts. First update was like 27 minutes or something, and I guess this one will be the same. So hopefully majority of our bigger community will be happy with such a format, because they can watch updates whenever they have time, and they don't have to stop video and then looking for a moment when they stop it. Anyways, I hope you will find this video interesting and informative. If so, please click that like button and leave some commentary just about anything. Probably you noticed, dear friends, that last several days my channel is under especially heavy pressure. I guess vast majority of our community don't see my videos on YouTube in recommendations, and don't even receive notifications about updates. So therefore, if you can, to little bit increase chances of that you will receive notification, click that bell button. If you can, and yes, leave some commentary maybe, and click that like also. Maybe we will manage to overcome these obstacles, artificial obstacles from the algorithm. And well, if you like my work, dear friends, if you want to support this small media project of mine, you can do it with donations through PayPal, Boosty, or by subscribing to my Patreon page. All the links are on this video in the description box and in the pinned comment. This is it for now. Have a great day and wonderful upcoming weekend. Take care.